I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that never in my life, at least up until the very recent past, did I ever think that I'd be in front of a camera talking to anybody about relationships unless I was talking about how to screw them up, because I was an expert at that in spite of being married for 16 years to the same woman. I became an expert shortly thereafter at messing up relationships. And I guess there's something to be learned just in learning what not to do. But this is New Cosmic Knowledge. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. And I want to talk to you today about a little something that I like to call the middle way is the only way, especially when we're talking about relationships. And if you need help and work with your relationships, you can work with Sandra and I at www.serpentanddove.org. You can work with Sandra on relationship issues and many spiritual issues, meditation. And you can reach her at rawreflections.org. And if you want to work with me, jeffreydaugherty.com. So we're here to help you create yourself. We're here to help you build the life that you'll love. And we're here to help you unindoctrinate yourself. So let's talk a little bit about the middle way is the only way. And that's certainly the case when the subject is relationships. So especially those of us, thank you, Catherine, especially those of us that are not youngsters anymore. Those of us that have had some seasoned time under our belt, those of us that have seen a little water go over the bridge, those of us under the bridge or over the dam, those of us that have got to the place where we know who we are, and that's the good part, but we kind of get set in who we are. So when you're talking about relationships at a mature age, be it 30s, 40s, 50s, and boy, I tell you, unless you're a really enlightened person, you don't know who you are until you get into your 30s, 40s, 50s. But at any rate, this is not about that. But what you get when you come into a relationship, especially people that have been on their own for a while, and hopefully you have been on your own for a while, that helps. But you get people that have a way of doing things. They have a way. I have a way of living my life. And I started doing inventory, not inventory, writing inventory, but I started just taking inventory. And I realized, and I said this to Sandra because it was shocking to me, that I had not been in a relationship for over 7 years. I had not been in a relationship for over 7 years. And in fact, I had not been in a relationship since I had become awoken or awakened. And in effect, this really is my first relationship. And that's a sobering thought. And yet it's a freeing thought, because who goes out and thinks they're going to get everything exactly perfect the first time that they do something? And yet I've come awfully doggone close. But at any rate, and I say that a lot, I need to get that out of my vocabulary. I have a way. I had a way for 7 years by myself. Sandra has a way. Sandra's been alone for a long time without a relationship. So she's got a way. And when you're dating people, your way and her way, it doesn't really fully manifest itself. Especially if we had a little bit of a long distance situation, a couple 100 miles. So it was, 3, 4, 5 days together and then 2, 3 weeks apart. So in those little micro sessions together, it's a lot easier to not worry about your way and her not worry about her way. And we'll take it out of my personal relationship and just get into it in general relationships. Whenever you come into one, you've got a way and he's got a way. You got a way and she's got a way. Everybody's got a way. And the way that this Western Judeo-Christian society shows you and tells you and teaches you and tries to enforce upon you is the way of the woman submitting to the man being the boss. And that's what the Bible says. Wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands. That might work initially just because people are dedicated to the same philosophy, but it ain't going to work long term. Why do you think that within the Christian church, and I was there for 20 years as a full-time minister, I've counseled more people. I should have bought stock in Kleenex, all the counseling that I did. Why do you think over 50%, about 54%, of the marriages within the Christian church, all denominations, Roman Catholic, Roman Protestant, end in divorce? 54%. Why? It's not because they got it figured out. It's not because they got it dialed in. It's not because they got a better way. It's because it's broken. The way they're telling you to do things is broken. You can't have one person submitting to another person. You can't have the woman submitting to the man. You can't have the man submitting to the woman. That's broken. And I'm not going to bring out the whiteboard, but if I did, you know what I draw. You do know. So that paradigm's busted. When people outside of the church have a lower divorce rate than people inside the church, one thing you know is that part of what's going on inside the church ain't working. It ain't working. I did in 20 years, probably maybe 50 marriages. Let's say 50, it's a good round number. And I bet my success rate it wasn't 50%. It was probably 30, 40%. Hell, I've married my best friend twice. Not me personally, but I've done 2 of his weddings. He got smart the last time and I didn't do it. But yeah. Catherine, I don't think we submit to each other in a relationship necessarily. So Sandra and I have come upon this thing, and Derek said it to us, Derek Bros, Global Witness. I don't know if he said it to us, but he said it. And Sandra, interestingly enough, has been saying it for about a year before she even knew me. I mean, she knew me here, but she didn't know me. Talking about the middle way. And it's, of course, a Taoist philosophy of finding the middle way. But nowhere in compromising, yes, and that's what the middle way is, Catherine. Nowhere other than relationships is the middle way more important. I'm going to say that. Maybe I'll be contradicted, but maybe I won't. Because if you go into a relationship and you get your way, it might work for a month. It might work for a few years. If you're with an extremely damaged or patient person, it might work for a decade, but sooner or later it's going to come unraveled because it can't be your way. Also, if you come into a relationship and it's her way or his way all the time, sooner or later, brother, sooner or later, sister, you're going to get sick and tired of that. And it's eventually not going to work. So don't come into a relationship and get your way all the time and think, ooh, I got it made. No, cousin. It's just a matter of time before you come home to an empty house. Happened to me before. It's just a matter of time before you come home and your stuff is packed. That never happened to me. It's just a matter of time before you get asked to not come home. The only way in relationships for them to be successful is the middle way. And the middle way consists of, pardon me, the middle way consists of you stating what your way is, her or him stating what his or her way is, and both of you move. She wants this. He wants that. He moves towards her. She moves towards him. And then you have a middle way. She gets part of what she wants. He gets part of what he wants. And together they get a middle way, which is what they want. I'm trying to think of a good example, and I can't think of one right now. Should have waited to do this podcast, right? But it's just a simple, okay, I don't want to get too personal. Let's say that somebody says, I need time for this. Okay, I need time for this. Another person says, I'd rather do that. Well, instead of this person saying, I need time and leaving it completely open-ended, so this person has to wonder how long they got to stop doing this before they can do that, this person says, okay, I need an hour. And this person over here says, okay, I'll give you an hour. So this person wanted probably 2 hours, and this person wanted not to do it at all, but they come together at the middle way and they agree in an hour. 5 love languages. I think that's a great, great book. I think everybody should read that book. It gives you an insight into how the person that you're with feels love, receives love. And it gives you the opportunity, if you want to, if you choose to act in ways that that other person is best able to receive. It's really a service to others thing. Read the book, find out how your partner likes to receive love. It's very easy to decipher. And then you can decide, is it service to others to try to do some of these things that they enjoy? It's up to you. Very powerful book. Who mentioned that? Thank you for mentioning it, Billy. It's a great book. I think it can be transformational within relationships. But again, just because there's 5 different ones. If you're 1 and your partner's 5, that doesn't mean that you give up being a 1 and just act like a 5, or he acts like gives up being a 5 and acts like a 1. No, it means that, okay, I know how he really wants to be loved. Okay, I know how she really wants to be loved. This probably isn't the way I would do it, but because I'm in love with this person, I'm going to it comes to the middle way again. It's all about the middle way. And what does Sandra say here? The prefix com means with, together, in association, and with intense force. So to say compromise, we're making a promise together with intense force. Together, in association with, and with intense force. Intense force would be like compress, compound. I think that when you make an agreement to come together, it can and will produce tremendous force for good. My way, I'm going to do it my way. My way, I'm going to do it my way. That produces tremendous force too, like this. Boom. But if we say my way, let's come COM together. Now we've got now we've got a great ability to meet each other in the middle and produce some great force with that. We got the opportunity to be not enmeshed, but we got the opportunity to be up next to each other, taking advantage, I'm not going to do it, taking advantage of each other's strengths and multiplying our abilities together. So I like that. It's going to be a intense force of bashing against each other if you insist on her way, his way, or it's going to be an intense force of synergy, binding of exponential energy when the two get together, not smashing, but together like this. Good comment. I just got home from dropping off a rooster. Interesting. You guys live some interesting lives. And it works for all relationships, not just couples. That's good. That's good. But I'm telling you, having messed up enough relationships, I know for sure how to mess them up. And the best way to mess them up is to ensure on getting your way, or to acquiesce and let them have their way all the time. And I can tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, if you will do the work to find the middle way, it'll work. You'll have a great relationship. You'll have a powerful relationship. Acts of service is the fifth. Oh, we're talking about the 5 love languages. Let's just look them up real quick. What do you say? We'll look them up real quick. There's not many of us here today, so let me just look up the 5 love languages. The 5 love languages. Are they going to give us just what the 5 of them are? What are the 5 love languages? What are the 5 love languages? Okay, words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, physical touch. And typically, you're one of those 5. And there's been over 11 million copies of this book sold. And it's worth a read, ladies and gentlemen. So if you find out that your partner is a person that really receives love best in physical touch, and you're a person that is a acts of service person, I mean, you can do things for this person that likes physical touch all you want, but they're not really going to get it unless you give them some physical touch. And physical touch person's not going to get it. Can come up and touch acts of service person, but that's not what they want. That's not what they want. That's not what they need. Quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch. And of course, as you look at those, I probably need to do a show on these. You can actually, maybe we can do a serpent and dove on these. That would be a great idea. You can look at, obviously, there's a combination of these things. There's a combination of these things. And really, outside of receiving gifts, you materialistic people, I'm kidding. Quality time, physical touch, acts of service, words of affirmation. You've probably combined all of those at some time. Some people don't like to receive gifts, but that could even be a part of it. So yeah, the 5 love languages, that's what they are. Interesting, I think. Women are typically quality time and acts of service. Well, I'm not with a typical woman, so that didn't help me at all, Tracy. I learned a long time ago ironing shirts and making breakfast didn't make them love you anymore. Men are typically words of affirmation and physical touch. Huh. Interesting. Well, there you go. Scotty did a video on love, on relationships. I really liked what he said. Good for Scotty. Be glad to see Scotty back again. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, 5 love languages, 10 love languages, 20 love languages, however many there are. I'll guarantee you this. If you don't find the middle way, it won't matter. Because the middle way is the only way in relationships. If you want to make your relationship work, if you want to transform your relationship, as good as it is, as bad as it is, start finding out what your partner really wants, find out what you really want, and don't try to get that person to do what you really want, and don't try to do everything that person really wants. Find a way that you can both meet in the middle way, the way of balance. Because I'm going to do it. I got to do it. I got to do it. The dreaded whiteboard is going to come out. So if you know what your way is, and you're trying to get this person to do it your way, or if you're trying to go and do it their way, that's what you are. You're enmeshed. And this is the danger zone. This is where fights are going to start. This is where resentments are going to start. This is where it's going to destroy your relationship. This is going to destroy your relationship when you enmesh like that. So if you got 2 people and they get in a relationship, they both have a way. Oh, let me redo this one a little bit. You got two people and you come into this, you're going to wreck it. It's going to be a train wreck. It's just a matter of time. Here's the same two people, and one of them's a little lopsided, sorry. Here's the same two people. They don't want to come together like this because they know that 54% of the time it doesn't work. They're not stupid people. So what they do is they listen to New Cosmic Knowledge and Global Witness and some other people, Raw Reflections, and they find out that, although I was going to say I never saw Sandra write on a whiteboard, but she did once. They decide, you know what? We're going to come for the middle way. What's that right there? That's where you're going to go down. What's that right there? Oh, that's a little thing I like to call the middle way. Both person are, they're compromising, they're coming together, which is never a bad thing. Pun intended. This will help you get there. Hey, just saying. The middle way. We're close, we're together, but I'm not giving up nothing here. We're close, we're together. I'm not giving up nothing here. We're coming together. It's the middle way, and it's the only way. This won't work except for short periods of time, and when it melts down bad. This works. This works. This is the middle way. Take it from a guy that screwed up enough relationships to know. The middle way is the only way in relationships. And if you don't believe me, try it. You'll like it. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is New Cosmic Knowledge. The divinity in me recognizes the divinity in you. I salute you for being here seeking after truth. I wish you love and light. And I hope that you'll continue to ask questions and question answers. And I hope that you will unindoctrinate yourself, create yourself, and build the life that you'll love. Because, cousin, we're the last generation of real humans. Yeah. Gann says, if you really want to confuse things, throw in an extra circle. Yeah. Crash and burn. We're the last generation of real humans. Let's get busy.